Several generative metaphors have enabled them to think about art's contradictory ability to communicate certain of its contents, while also withholding information by maintaining its status as an enduring conundrum.
The art that I appreciate typically has a level of mystery to it, and I like art that draws you in and engages you in the process and makes you have to try and figure out what's going on. Contemporary art has gotten so out of touch and disconnected that it's not even relevant to most people. I've been thinking a lot about this, and also I've been trying to figure out a way to understand how ordinary people really think about contemporary art and how they think about the language used in the art world. My idea was to collect a mixture of voices of people from all different walks of life. New York City is a great place to start because wherever you go, you have this incredible texture of voices and languages that are constantly surrounding you from all angles. I mean, it's great to get lost in the work, and if you're working on something that's really pulling you forward, you lose track of time. And some of the best feelings as an artist come when you make something and you step back and you look at it and you say, wow, did I really make that? And it's almost like, how did I create that thing? You might not have thought about it before, it just kind of came out and it really works, and that's the best feeling that I can get. One of the great things about living here is that there's art everywhere, and I can go out and see shows anytime I want. But oftentimes I don't really find the work very interesting. I just don't connect with it. But what I always find fascinating is the way people write about the work.
What's going on?
How'd they do that?
I have a question for you gentlemen. Okay, so I'm doing a project about the use of language in the art world and how the press releases and the language that's used doesn't really describe well the work. Any thoughts on that?
I just think it's very hard to put in words what you're seeing in your, what you're seeing.
You might find an adjective or two that is complementary to the work.
Okay.
But as far as giving you an insight into what that's about,
yeah,
non-existent.
This is taken from a press release.
I'm so sorry.
What are your thoughts about this?
I mean, this whole thing, is not a terrible idea, but it's actually could be said so much more clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing. It's almost like people are saying, like, I don't want you to read this, so I'm gonna make it not make too much sense so that people won't read it and make fun of me.
With music, we take music in and we accept what comes in, and we don't say, well, that means this or this means that.
Yeah.
We just experience and let music in, and it comes over us like an emotion, like a wave.
Yeah.
And I think that the art is the same thing for me. That's how I experience it.
Several generative metamorphs.
Several generative metaphors.
Several generative metaphors
Have enabled them to think about.
Have enabled them to think about
art's contradictory ability
to communicate
certain of its content,
certain of its content,
while also withholding information,
while also withholding information,
by maintaining status,
by maintaining its status
as an enduring conundrum,
as an enduring conundrum,
as an enduring conundrum.
When I hear a foreign language spoken, it brings me to this different place and reminds me of either places I've traveled to or places I'd like to go to. So it kind of opens up this whole world of possibilities. On the other hand, when I hear Artspeak, it doesn't elevate my imagination or allow me to make connections. It basically just creates a wall instead of a path.
Sorry. Okay.
It's always grounding to be with my family because there's no pretension in the way we all communicate and speak with each other. Everything is pretty simple, everything is direct. It's basically the opposite of Artspeak.
The moment of truth. All right, here we go.
You watching it?
You see that? Okay.
Eyeball.
Ava, can you say something about Bill?
He draws really good stuff.
He does?
And he always wears a lot of hats.
Why do you think he wears a lot of hats?
He's bald.
Artspeak is also an attitude, and it's a way of operating that you totally feel as you walk around an art fair. While and you're just walking around, you just can't take it anymore. It's just too much. It's like, oh my god, what is that on the wall? It's like I can't look at art anymore. It's like I hate art. It's time to go home. I've got to get out of here. I'm using Morse code in these works because the language that's used in the art world is a separate code, and it's a separate dialect that's mostly just circulating within the clique of the art world. And I'm gilding the works because that gives more importance to the language. The idea being that in conceptual art, the context and the way the object is described is often more important than the object itself. This series is about language.
Yeah.
It's about the language of the art world and how language that's used in art literature and critique and in press releases never really describes the work very well.
Yes.
You know, a lot of it's very complicated, very dense. We call it Artspeak. Certain generative metaphors have enabled them to think about art's contradictory ability to communicate certain of its contents while also withholding information while maintaining its status as an enduring conundrum. Thank you.
Thank you. 3 times here.
Oh, 3 times, I forgot.
Allez. Merci à toi. C'est bien. Super.
Great. I just got a show in Geneva. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it's going to be at the end of April.
Are you serious? Often they paradoxically
reveal themselves.
Paradoxically reveal themselves often.
Through the self-reflective recalcitrance.
Through the self-reflective recalcitrance
of artistic materials comprising them.
Compromising them. Compromising them. Compromising them. Compromising them.
So what I want to do with the video of the people I've been having read for me is to take that video and create an installation for the Geneva show. And I want to make the installation interactive, where I'll have people reflect for a moment after having seen the installation, and then record their thoughts about contemporary art.
This harness discord resides either on the brink of reaction
Or in the aftermath of this exploding point.
Or in the aftermath of its exploding point.
Exploding point.
Of its exploding point.
Exploding point.
Loading point.
It's exploding point.
And give me another joint.
I think contemporary art is more about the reflection of itself.
Our own nationality is our inner art expression of being, our humanity. Art is universal.
Dots, lines, more dots, more lines. I don't think that's meant to be art, but who knows?
I love art that inspires me.
We live in this world for an instant. The fleetingness of life is crushing for the beauty of it all. The work of contemporary art is a moment's note in the symphony of the universe.